straight to that conversation, shall we? Today, the Supreme Court did make a lot of people proud. But before we even go to the Supreme Court, or perhaps we just go straight to the Supreme Court, right? So let's start with Kano State. Well, it looks like the world was waiting to see what comes out of that, that judgment in Kano State. Okay, so the Supreme Court has restored Governor Abba Yusuff of New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) as a valid winner of the governorship election that held in Kano State on March 18. So the Apex Court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel of justices today, Friday, vacated the concurrent judgment of the Kano State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal and the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which sacked Governor Yusuff and declared Nasiru Gawuna of the All Progressives Congress APC as winner of the gubernatorial poll. Now, in the lead judgment that was delivered by Justice Inyang Okoro, the Supreme Court held that the lower courts wrongly deducted valid votes that were credited to Governor Yusuff by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). It held that the 165,663 votes that were deducted from Yusuff and the NNPP on the premise the ballot papers were not signed, stamped, or dated were valid. Now, the court held that, contrary to the position of the lower court, that is the appeal court, a total of 146,292 of the ballot papers were confirmed to have been signed and stamped, and not actually 165,663. So only that they did not contain any dates, but they were signed. It held that by Section 63, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, the ballot papers which bore the official mark and was duly issued by INEC were not totally invalid. So besides, the court held that there was no evidence that Governor Yusuff influenced the non-signing of the ballot papers. More so, the court faulted the lower courts for nullifying Yusuff's election on the premise that he was not a member of the NNPP. It held that the issue of sponsoring a candidate in an election was within the domestic affairs of a political party, which was exactly what played out during the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. So we're wondering why the court said otherwise at the appeal court. So it held that Yusuff won the governorship election by majority of lawful votes and was duly nominated by his political party. So he returns the winner of that election. Well, this is just one of the cases. We have about 6 more to go this evening. Joining me over the phone is Barrister Tunde Awe. Barrister Tunde is a legal practitioner, a very respectable lawyer, and he's over the phone to help us make sense of all that played out today in the Supreme Court, and of course vis-a-vis the past appeal court's judgment. Good evening, Dr. Tunde, Barrister Tunde Awe, and welcome to Voice of the People FM. I don't give you Dr. Join. I don't give you Dr. Join.
Yes, I hope it's not from one of these mushroom universities in the Republic.
Oh, don't do this now. Don't do this now. Don't tell me that I want to Isa Pantami you now. Don't do that. All right, Barrister Tunde, you're welcome. So, first of all, I'd like to know, were you surprised by the judgment?
No, I wasn't really. Sincerely, I was not surprised.
Would you have been surprised if it was otherwise?
Yes, I would have been, because we had reviewed the judgment of the Court of Appeal extensively. We were of the respectable opinion that the Court of Appeal was in error, and of course, we recall the series of events that created a lot of hue and cry over the likelihood of the outcome of the decision of the Court of Appeal at the time. So it was the Court of Appeal decision that did not really surprise us. We watch out of the space.
Oh, so the Court of Appeal decision did not also surprise you?
No, it did not. It did not surprise me.
Why?
It did not surprise me. There were a lot of, from the grapevine, of course, speaking from the grapevine now, not as a lawyer now, there were a lot of conversations that were ongoing. Speaking about
sorry, 1 second. What do you mean by the Court of Appeal decision? Is it their decision in giving 2 contradictory judgments, or by even upturning his election? Hello? Which of them?
Hello, I'm sorry. You said what do I
said,
mean by
which of the decisions of the Court of Appeal were you not surprised, or that did not surprise you? Is it
the Kano decision?
That's what I'm saying. Is it the contradictory judgments, two judgments?
The deduction of the numbers, particularly.
Okay.
The sort of numbers of the issue of whether
taking 160 over 165,000 votes and giving it to the other person.
A very substantial number of the votes, and it was anyway. The bottom line is that I was not surprised as a person, as an individual, about the outcome. We expected that the Court of Appeal would overturn, and we just said, okay, well, we are grateful that there's still another option of appeal, which is the Supreme Court, and our expectation has been vindicated. Of course, I'm not a member of NNPP, but I am a very concerned person about the how do I say, our positions of law, that our positions of law must be constant.
But now, based on that, what would that have made? What did you think that the expectations of? What did you think the expectations of Nigerians would have been in the court? Not just the court. What did you think that Supreme Court judgment meant to a lot of Nigerians? The appeal court judgment. I beg your pardon. That's especially the removal of votes. Then now the contradictory judgments. There was a contradiction where one was verbally given and another judgment was gotten during, from the certified through copy. I don't know if you remember that incident. That actually led them to... That is actually now before the ECOWAS courts. Yes.
It was very embarrassing. I didn't want to speak about that, but now you've raised it.
We can't talk about Kano State without talking about that.
Yes, I try to avoid it because, sometimes when it's just like a man who has been humiliated in public, he tries to avoid the places that he has suffered humiliation with. He avoids those places. He dodges and passes through other places. So, that was a very, very embarrassing period in the history of our judicial experience. When you see A in a judgment and you see B being read, and the issues of reconciliation of the positions becomes something that you have to stammer when you are trying to explain to the ordinary man on the street. So we are lawyers, and that's some of the things we've been complaining about. That look, if you have a client, if you come to me as precious and say, look, I loaned someone some money, I need the person to return my money. What do I do? I said, the law is X. When we go to court, the law should be X. Because we don't, as lawyers, there's what we call judicial precedent. You understand?
Mm-hmm. That is something that has happened before. What the court has given a decision before on.
Exactly. Exactly. For instance, if you're a Christian and I say go to Matthew chapter 13 verse 1, and then I read something that is not there, you look at me and wonder, okay, what are you saying? Is it that I use New Living Translation or I use King James Version? Then you go to King James Version and there's nothing that resembles that there. You want to be very cautious about further utterances I make about scripture. In the same way, when we have established traditions, let me say, in law, there should be some measure of certainty. There is this saying that the law is a precise endeavor. It's like mathematics. If you add 2 oranges to 2 oranges, you have 4 oranges. You don't have 2 lemons and 2 oranges. So when you have a situation where you don't have 2 oranges and then 2 oranges, then somebody says there are 4 apples and 1 pineapple, then you know that there is something not
okay. So moving forward now, analyzing that judgment of the Supreme Court, especially by the revered Justice Ijeoma Egwuatu, of Justice of the Supreme Court. A lot of people are of diverse opinion. Hello? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I hear you now.
Yes. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Abuja, depending on where you are, the what do you call it? The service is usually very funny. So Abuja right now. I should apologize. I'm sorry.
All right. So analyzing. I was looking at something that he said while giving this judgment. He said that his only worry is that a lot of people have suffered because of the judgments. So, do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you think that the judgment was given because it was duly on merit, or it was just given to avert crisis in Kano State, understanding that it looks like there was already, a warm-up of violence?
Well, for me, since I'm on this program as a lawyer, let me just speak as a lawyer. I believe that because I've listened to the judgment, I've looked at the reviews, and my view is that the Court of Appeal was very, very right in its holdings.
Irrespective of the fact that it was the opinion that it was done to avert as any crisis in chaos in Kano State.
Sometimes like our Supreme Court is a policy court. You understand? You cannot separate the Supreme Court judges from the feelings of the people. You understand? So sometimes, of course, naturally, because they are human, the feelings of people will weigh in on their decisions, especially when you have a divided court. When you have a decision where a particular number of judges make a decision in one way, you understand that, okay, the judges are influenced by certain factors, not necessarily all the time by law. Of course, the law is the principal guiding factor. For instance, you have a young lady who has been brutally raped. You are sad. And then, the evidence is scanty. It's very, very, once it's clear that it is this individual that has done it, I won't be surprised when the judge goes and tries to look around in the evidence and see what he can use to hang the chap. I would not be surprised. I'm not saying that is the normal thing here now. You are sad. But so your view that the feeling of the people or the temperature of
this, was considered in the judgment
might have influenced. It might not have been wrong, but as a lawyer, my view is that the ruling, the legal reasonings were sound, and they reflected the expectation of a policy court. You are saying the policy court is a court. The Supreme Court is a court that is very careful in making determinations of crucial matters of this nature. Like in build up to your conversation, you gave an explanation of how the court arrived at a decision that the Court of Appeal was wrong in removing the number of votes removed. That, okay, look, the fact that it was not dated is not material. There are other considerations that should have been applied. So it's those circumstances, of course, will come to play in one time, at one point or the other. But the truth of the matter is, in my view, my legal opinion, my legal view is that their lordships were very sound in their reasoning, and they brought succor to the people of Kano State. If you look at the build-up to Kano, the election was lost. APC had lost the election long before the election was even conducted. I was in Kano. If you recall, I was in Kano during the election. I was in Kano when the results were declared. You understand? And you could see it was just like the elections of Lagos when Obi won Lagos. It was very clear. There was nobody could have disputed that Obi won Lagos. It was very clear. Even the owners of Lagos admitted that, look, there was something wrong. They lost Lagos. So the election had already been lost to APC in Kano State. Ganduje lost the election for APC in Kano State long before the elections were conducted. So back to the point. Back to
the point of the appeal court now, speaking about this, because a lot of people thought that, okay, so now that Ganduje is the National Working Committee chairman of the party, that he probably would play a lot, he would have a lot of influence in the Supreme Court judgment. And some people thought that maybe he even influenced the appeal court judgment, because since it didn't really make sense to a lot of people, why the appeal court would have upturned that election and giving a whopping 160-something thousand votes and assumed that those number of votes belonged to APC.
Let me tell you one story. I don't know if you can hear me.
Go ahead.
I lost you for a second there.
Right,
I think I got the drift of your conversation. Let me tell you one story. There was, when we were young lawyers, there was this story about a particular judge in Lagos State, you understand, who was very well known for being corrupt. The story was that they had this particular client that asked for him to influence the decision, and he agreed. That's the claimant, the person that brought the case. And he agreed, and he collected XYZ sum or some gratification or the other from the person, and he gave judgment in favor of the person. Now, while that person had approached him, the defendant also came and said, "Oga, I know you are a collector. Please, how can you help me?" He said, "Don't worry." He also collected from the defendant. So he collected.
Oh my goodness! I think I'm losing you, Barrister Tunde. Oh my goodness! All right, we'll try to reconnect with him, and then we get details of that conversation. But let me quickly also let you know that judgments were given today in other cases. I mean, the governors of Lagos, Kano, Zamfara, Plateau, Ebonyi, and Bauchi State. So not just and Abia State, I beg your pardon, and all of these played out today. And we really cannot wait to hear or to feel your pulse on these conversations, to know exactly what you thought. But let me just let you in quickly on how the Plateau State judgment went, because a lot of people were also worried about Plateau State, as same way they were worried about that of Kano State. But the Supreme Court today, upheld the election of Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang. Now, the Mutfwang's victory at the March 18, 2023 poll was upheld by the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Jos. But the appeal court overturned the lower court's victory, declaring Nentawe Gushwe of the All Progressives Congress as the winner of that election. And it was a bit troubling for a lot of people. I don't know if Barrister Tunde has joined us back again. Hello, Barrister Tunde, are you there? Barrister Wike.
Hello, madam.
Yes, are you there, please? Apologies, network.
Yes, I am.
Well done. So you were saying something before we went on break, before we lost you, and then we wanted to quickly.
Party, where he gave his judgment.
Okay.
Yes, he gave a judgment for Party A, and the party was happy and celebrating. Then he called Party B, who was angry. But you said, don't worry, go and apply for appeal on point A, point B, point C, and you succeed.
Away.
And the party
same judge.
And the party went and appealed. This is a story that was quite, that was very we heard when we were
and the courts and the judge was not sanctioned by NJC for corruption.
No. What I've said. What I've said is a story about a particular judge. Now, I've not mentioned any judge's name because that was the story at the time. It was something to let us know that, look, you just be very careful in your pleadings, be very circumspect in the way you present your case, so that there's no room for anybody to come and make arrangements. So when you look at the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Kano, it's scary when you see something in writing and you listen and something else was said. And we are worried. And the rule is that parties are bound by the records of the court. You are bound. It is what is the records, not what you thought you heard that applies. It is what is in the record that applies. And when you see what is in the record and what you listen to at variance, then you might want to wonder what's going on now.
But in your opinion, what do you think really played out there? That was it a mistake? Could it have been that the person who read out made a mistake because he said it was clerical error? How possible is it that you have such a clerical error?
I've had so many of those kind of situations, to be very honest and to be very, fair to their lordships. We've had so many times where you say, in the record of proceedings, the judges don't type those judgments. They give it to their clerks.
That's why they call it clerical errors. So their clerks type it.
So yes. So in fairness to them, like I said, have had situations where it's totally non-existent in the conversations that we had, and then you see it in the judgment or in the ruling or in the record of proceedings, and then you're wondering where did this come from? And so it happens. It does happen. There's no lawyer that is in litigation that will say he has not come across situations like that. That particular one, in a situation like that, because before you sign it and issue certified true copies, you have to read carefully, because when you want to issue certified true copies, the certified true copy is an endorsement by the registrar of the court saying this is exactly what the judge has said. And the only person that will approve the final draft of the certified true copy is the judge.
So, Barrister, let's move one more point on why the judgment, the election of the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuff was upheld. Before we go straight to Plateau State and perhaps the other states that Supreme Court passed judgment on today. So one of the other reasons Justice Iyango Okoro gave was the judgment on whether or not he was a valid member of NNPP and if he was duly nominated by the party, right? And he did say clearly that was a pre-election matter. Basically, that's what it means. That would have been something that would have happened within internal party issue, but which was also the ground of the party during the presidential election tribunals, right? But how come the appeal court said otherwise in that case? I want to understand what would have been happening with the appeal court judges that made them think otherwise, knowing that it would have been a pre-election matter.
Look, if you one of the way, if you look at the conclusion of my Lord Justice Yang, and then compare it also with the decision in the O2 case, that's the crossover case, where the court said it was just a waste of time. A waste of time. That the appeal was a waste of time. Because those are things that have been established long since. So most of us, this particular election petition cycle threw up a lot of fantastic and queer reasonings. I say, if I use queer, fantastic is even glorifying it. Very queer reasonings that shocked a lot of people. Very, very queer reasonings. That you begin to wonder, these are judges that are known to be very, very, very brilliant, have given exceptional judgments in the past, and then some elementary or apparently elementary issues of this nature, you find them bumbling, stumbling, fumbling, wobbling, with great respect to them. And creating confusion of the most astounding character.
So what is the lacuna that would say we have in our law or the Electoral Act now that would have made for these conflicting interpretations?
It's lacuna in the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act has practically every aspect of the Electoral has been interpreted up to the Supreme Court as settled. There's no aspect that is recondite. When I say recondite, that means that needs explanation, that needs exposition on, So almost every aspect. And if you look at petition, eligibility,
yes,
propriety of the congresses, the qualification of the persons. When you look at qualification, whether the person had certificates. Those are the essential things that have formed the crux of election petitions in the last few years. And all these things have been decided upon. Nomination of parties, internal candidate issue, internal party issue. You can't look whether I lock my door at 11 o'clock or I lock my door at 10 o'clock. It's not your business. You can't come and tell me, Mr. Okorogo, and lock your door at 11 o'clock. Who are you? And we said this thing. If you remember when we were having conversations about the OB elections, when the elections were filed, this was in March, April, I said this petition will fail, and I explained to you the reasons why this petition will fail. I was shocked. I spread to you, that despite this people are very, very learned and experienced lawyers, and look at the grounds that it will fail, and it failed. You understand? And the same thing kept being repeated by almost everybody.
So you think that the entire issue of 25% in FCT and all of those certificate issues and all that weren't properly filed?
My opinion, no, that's not that issue particularly. That issue for me is a very interesting issue. It's a brilliant issue. Yes, it happened with Awolowo now, 12 to 10. So what are we saying?
Because I was going to say that I think 1976, right?
But the lordships have determined it. The Supreme Court, the beauty of the Supreme Court is that it's the final court. When the Supreme Court has ruled, the only person you can go to is God. If you're a believer in God, that is, you go and say, okay, God, I had idea. And then go and get. But see, the beauty of our court system is once a court has given, for instance, the Supreme Court can give decision A in January and give decision B in February. Like there's this very famous case, case of V. Arabella, where the Supreme Court held that the Federal High Court is several jurisdictions. That is not one jurisdiction. So if you want to serve a process in Federal High Court in Lagos, you have to seek leave to serve in Abuja. And Federal High Court is just one court.
What?
It's just one court. So, but the court looked at it later and said, look, this is not right. Federal court is one court and overruled it. So the Abba Arabella case has been overruled. But it caused a lot of injustice. Somebody suffered for it. You understand? If you look at the Boris case also, I argued that case in the early years of EFCC, when the EFCC first started. I had one case with the EFCC, and they arrested somebody that allegedly committed a crime in Ikoyi, and they came and charged him the Kenya. And I objected to it. The judge said, look, I'm talking nonsense. The Supreme Court held in the Boris case and justified my position. That look, Ibori, you can't come and charge Ibori in Abuja when the alleged offenses were committed in Delta State. Take him to Delta State and go and try him there. So things happen, and the Supreme Court can overrule itself. At some point or the other.
Okay. Even though we waited for Supreme Court to overrule itself in Uzodima's case, but that didn't happen. But that's
you see, Uzodima's case is another part.
Because that particular case is somehow for you to. It's almost looking like what happened with Kano State now, where you assume that.
Precious, are you not a Christian? The first shall be the last. What are you saying?
Now.
What are you saying?
So where you assume that the number of votes that were supposed to be from this place where election probably did not go down is supposed to be for one person. What is the justification for that assumption? We still can't tell till today. But then you are the lawyer, so I'm sure the revered justices are the experts, so they know better. But let's move straight to Plateau State.
I'm scratching my head as I'm talking to you. I'm scratching my head.
I caught you on that one, right? So let's move straight to Plateau State. What's your opinion of what happened with the affirmation of the victory of Caleb Mutfwang today? Yes.
Back to the same issue. Internal party mechanisms. Back to the issue.
But those were overturned, even though affirmed by the tribunal, they were overturned by the appeal court. That's the same thing.
And what did the Supreme Court say?
They throw away the thing. They turn them upside down immediately.
Yeah. So if my son comes, let's look at the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. It's like a child cannot contract. If my son takes my gas cylinder and sells to somebody, I go to the person, I take my cylinder back, because a child has no capacity, not a son, but a child has no capacity to enter a contract. You understand? So if he takes his cylinder, you give him $200,000 for my gas cylinder, you have wasted your money. I'll go there, collect my cylinder back, you understand, and put it back in my house. So in the same way that has happened there, when there is a position of law that has been established and their lordships in their wisdom, because look, I cannot compare myself however brilliant I think I am, I cannot compare my brilliance to the brilliance of my lords of the Court of Appeal, the Justice of the Court of Appeal. They are exceptionally brilliant judges. Yes, but there is no doubt that they have erred, as affirmed by the Supreme Court, in their determination that the appeal of Mr. Nentawe against Mufwang succeeded. That Plateau is very sensitive to me. Plateau is where I grew up. I supported Mufwang. Nentawe.
Oh, you did? He was your candidate? Oh, wow.
Yes. He's someone that I've known for a very long time.
So do you think he won the election?
I do not think he won the election. At least with the results that have been affirmed by the Supreme Court now, I cannot say that he won the election. However, my feelings or my sentiments are. So the truth of the matter is there was error at the Court of Appeal. I saw it, and I told my people that I had conversations with. 90% of my friends are Mufwang people. We had that conversation. I continue. The fact that you lose does not mean that you do not maintain the relationship or your views about a particular person. I felt he was a better candidate, but politics is a game of numbers, and the numbers came, and according to the declaration of Mufwang won, and then of course the second INEC, which is our course these days, I said this is the way that number 2, because and we keep saying, look, these things should not happen. These things should not happen. We shouldn't be getting to a point where it is the courts that are now determining elections. And that is why our courts are viewed with the greatest these days. Because they've been so inundated with political issues. And political sentiments are very deep. Politicians whip up all kinds of separate religious, economic, political, and all kinds. And with social media and false and fake information flying all over the place, you are going to suffer for it. You understand? Anybody's image can be read very easily by social media. You understand? So this over concentration of determination of elections in the courts is becoming an issue. We have to find a way to remove those things. And look at the cases that continue to suffer. You have people that are in jail looking for bail. 11, 12, 30 years. Their cases have not been heard.
I know of a lawyer. I know of your fellow lawyer. I know of a fellow lawyer who said to me recently that they tried to get a date for a case that he has at the Supreme Court, and he was giving 2028.
Let me tell you something.
And I'm wondering if someone are you okay?
Yeah. I've had the case in Supreme
Please
Court.
Don't shock me any further, because I was already shocked.
5 years ago, I filed. It has not been heard to today.
5 years ago. So if this person is behind bars, the person will remain behind bars for 5 years.
I can guarantee you that person will be there eating prison beans and contributing to the draining of our national reserves. Because it's the federal government that quote unquote fees there, even though we know that if we look at those issues, we will find a lot of things to laugh at. You understand? But the truth of the matter is there are budgetary allocations to prisons, and not to talk of the issue of congestion, the issue of rights. Because look, it's a mess. 3 weeks ago in December, I think it was between 10th and 15th of December, I was in court in Kenya, where a man that had been in prison for 9 years, and the representative of the Attorney General of Lagos State came to court, the DPP's office, and said, look, we have tried our best. There's nothing we can do, but this man has suffered. There was no fire. 9 years. As at the time we left court, the argument had just been, the court had reserved judgment on the matter. So it's this January that the decision will come. And then, of course, when the decision comes, there will be a process. I did a case for 13 years. I personally did a case for a murder case. Someone was accused of murder. I was in Kirikiri he's a prison officer. He was in prison for 13 years. After 13 years, we won the case. As I talk to you now, this is 2 years since the judgment has finished. We have not gotten the decision. We've not gotten a copy of the judgment. The law is 7 days after the decision. This is 2 years. We don't have it.
So who is to be held responsible for all this flouting of the law? How can the same people who interpret the law flout the law? I'm sorry. How does that work?
Well, you see, the thing is, when you look at all the economy, our system is broken, it's damaged. If you have a damaged husband or a damaged wife, you are going to suffer for it. You understand? I was listening to one program today, in particular human rights organization that does their programs on radio, and the wife of a particular individual, actually was a recording that I got. The wife of a particular popular politician in the Southeast state was recounting how her husband stamped on her pregnant stomach. You understand? In the presence of his security men who are policemen, and the baby, he forcefully stamped the baby out of her stomach, and she was there brandishing pictures. Imagine a wife, pregnant wife, you have beaten her so terribly, you are not satisfied, she's already on the floor. Even in boxing, where you are fighting, when your opponent's on the floor, the referee says leave him, and you step back. If you punch him again, you are disqualified. But this one, the wife was already on the ground, because you can't stomp on a belly that is standing up now. He stomped on the belly and the child came out.
Jesus.
You understand what I'm saying? And the policemen that were attacked, yes. No, look, I'll send you the video after the program, so you also the system.
And the person is a politician.
The person is a politician. He's not the person that's elected.
And the law cannot do anything to him.
No, nobody says the law cannot do anything to him.
But the law hasn't done anything to him.
There's a process. If there's a process that has been initiated, that's why I say the system is broken. There are people that look. I was doing a case where a man brutally beat his wife and she fled the house. When we went to court, the judge told the woman to kneel down and apologize to her husband. Yes. The judge, that's a family court who was established. Look, I tell you our system is broken. You go to court, a man refuses to pay child support for his children. The judge is pleading with him because the policy is okay, try and settle things. But you're not enforcing it. Go around all over the world and you see what is happening to men that refuse to pay child support. They will arrest you. There will be warrants out for you. You can't earn a dime anywhere. Well, yeah, the judge will be encouraging and reconciliation. Which reconciliation? You have children that are not feeding, and
that is exactly. Let's not even go to that matter. That is exactly why. That is exactly why you men, not you now. I mean, men feel like they can impregnate any woman and get away with it and not care about the children. After all, the law won't hold them accountable. It's a pity. And let me not say the same reason why if these women eventually travel out with these men, they use their eye to see Pepe. And you now say, oh, Nigerian women change when they travel out. But that's because they have been in an environment where you had treated them otherwise before. And then now they can see that they're in an environment where the laws can work in their favor. So they use it.
Exactly.
It's such a pity.
Exactly.
But let's go through. So I'd like to know what your opinion on all the other states are. I mean, were you surprised about that of Lagos State? Of course, nobody was. Lagos, Zamfara, Ebonyi, Bauchi, Abia State. I'd like to know what your thoughts are very quickly.
By worry was Plateau
and Kanu. Those were my worries too. Those were my worries too. But I didn't ask you a question quickly. Kanu, Plateau State. How do you think Mutfwang is going to? Mutfwang is going to cope right now. Survive. How did you know what I mean? Considering the fact that the same appeal court that we're talking about has thrown away all his PDP House of Assembly members. So he's working in isolation right now. How is he going to survive?
Yeah. Do we have a House of Assembly Plateau State right now? Look, you remember what my friend did now? What is his name again? The ballet man. What's his name now? The Phillips principal now. What's the name of the governor of Edo State too?
Okay. Are you talking about Oshimole or Adams Oshimole?
No. Now these are our friend now. Who has his problem is the deputy now? Why is his name run the way down?
I have forgotten. My head cannot even go to
the PDP governor okay. I don't know why. Why is this still run the way? From my head, you can remember what he did. Yeah, sir. When he suspended the entire. So look, if you go to Plateau State now, Obaseki is the person. Okay,
Obaseki. Okay, Obaseki. Yes.
Godly.
Who is, by the way, in some sort of cold war with his deputy right now. But that's a matter for another day.
Philip and I were very good friends growing up with the university.
Oh, Mr. Shaibu.
Yes. Okay. Philip was our dance president. He was a student leader in the university those days. We struggled together in the early days of our unionism. Anyway, the point I'm making is that is there a House of Assembly in Plateau State?
Can a state function without a House of Assembly? Look at what is happening in River State. Can a state function without a House of Assembly?
Should be represented. You say, look, I say our system is.
Have they represented the budget in River State now? They've not now.
Yes, now they said they should represent.
They have told him to represent. They are told, but he hasn't now. Has he done that? Because I know he did have a meeting. I know he had a meeting with the president yesterday, but we've not seen the way forward of that meeting because he wouldn't spill.
Look, the issue there is and it's famous. Whatever happens now, your son, man is control.
Oh dear, I think
whatever happens.
Okay, go ahead.
So by the time you finish his 4 years, you can go to court and go and sort out yourself. That's why I think the system is broken. The system is horribly broken. And there are some things that just don't want to say online. We are courting disaster with the way we romance the brokenness of our system. You sit down on a tree that is dry and you are dancing. The tree will crack and before you break your head. You understand? It happened in 1966. It happened in 1979. 1976. It happened again in 1983. It happened in 1985. Look, it happened again in 1993 and 92. Look, you can't continue to dance to the You got to need to dance on a brittle glass and expect that things will not happen. The system is broken. The system must be fixed.
Okay.
The system, you cannot.
So why you're saying this now? How do you see a governor like my governor Fubara surviving, and with the House of Assembly, even though the PDP there have declared all their seats vacant, and whereas they are now asking him to ensure that he represents the budgets? How is he going to survive?
Well, you see, the thing is,
we're also awaiting his own Supreme Court judgment anyway.
Yeah, well, if you go in his favor now, you understand, based on what we have seen so far, go in his favor.
And if he doesn't, if there will be a re-election, because it looks like Wike is subtly having a campaign. If you notice what's going on, like there's a subtle campaign going on.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And you know how good Wike is with the law. Like he's in good friends with the law. So
Wike is a lawyer now. Wike is a lawyer.
That's what I'm saying. He's friends with the law generally.
He's a lawyer. He's influential. Wike has it all. You understand? He's emperor material. You understand? So the thing is, if there's a re-election, then Fubara can just pack his load and go to the village, because Fubara cannot win an election against Wike. You understand? In Rivers State, it will not happen.
So do you see the Supreme Court asking for a re-election? Because that's Tonye Cole's prayers. That's Tonye Cole's prayer for a re-election.
It's preempting the decision of the Supreme Court. So my own view is let's wait and see.
Not to be subject.
I already have my views. Yes, I have my views, but let us wait and see. Since I'm a lawyer now. Yes,
okay, so going back to Plateau State now, how is Mutfwang going to cope?
Oga will do his best to see. That there's a legal solution, there's a political solution.
So do you see some of the assembly members now, those APC guys now, porting back to PDP?
Well, not food. What do politicians want? Relevance now. Most of these people are what do I call what's his name now? Previous governor in Plateau State. Plateau is my second home. In fact, it's my first home, so to speak. So Lalong.
Yes.
Lalong. They are all Lalong boys.
Exactly. So it's going to be tough. Do you see an impeachment coming for him?
I would be surprised that an impeachment will come, but it will be an impeachment mired in controversy. Just like we have Fubara. It will be, I would be surprised. They'll go and rent one hotel somewhere. They'll sit down, so call one carpenter to make a base. Then they'll just sit down and then look. I see a lot of things happening, but you see, Mutfwang is a very, very clever person. If you look at Mutfwang is a bridge builder. Like I said, I didn't support Mutfwang's emergence, but Mutfwang is a clever maneuverer. And if you look at Mutfwang's body language all through this period while the Supreme Court show was pending, you see a lot of
him that's been going from east to south, like he's going from left to right.
So you know that this is a man that understands that, look, there is a need for compromise. You understand? Yes, okay, you are governor, but he understands and that's what politics is about. You understand? It's just the followers of the politicians that are so unwise. You understand? You follow your brother because he's following one party, or because he took one position, or he voted one person.
Okay.
Meanwhile, next week, all the politicians are dying and riding together, and they are shaking hands and clapping each other's backs. That you and your friend and your brother are not enemies. It's a game of exchange of benefits. Give me A, I give you B. Scratch my back, and then sometimes you have to scratch a place that's not my back. You understand? That may be smelly even, but I scratch your back, and now my back is not scratching me, but there's someone that's scratching me. You have to scratch it, and you have no choice but to go and scratch that place. So that's politics for you.
Okay.
If you understand it, you know how to play. I think Mutfwang understands what's expected of him in an environment of hostility, quote unquote, that he is now going to have to operate in.
Okay. So, before I open my phone lines, there are other conversations I wanted us to chime in on. A court admitting exhibit against Governor Bello's nephew over alleged 10 billion stolen from Kogi account. I don't know if you followed this case, but it's crazy. people's money.
Yeah,
People's money. A lot of money.
A lot of issues. The Bello case, it's going to be very interesting. Now that the handover is, staring us in the face, we are going to see a lot of things. We'll see EFCC moving in. And then I begin to wonder now. Incidentally, my classmate is the chairman of the EFCC, and you're right. I mean, the ICPC, I beg your pardon.
Okay.
You understand?
The ICPC that will do nothing, that are doing their job enough anyway, because I mean, they should be holding these political office holders accountable very well. But we see the EFCC doing what it should be doing.
EFCC is, I'll say, for me, when it comes to all these official corruption issues, EFCC is just, is stepping outside its limits. It's taking over the boundaries of, it's encroaching the boundaries.
You do not think it's because the ICPC is not living up to their duties?
If a man is not bringing food, the woman will not sit down and watch her soldiers stand. She will go out and see what.
Absolutely.
This person now, Liu now has said that he's going to lead from the front. We had one particular general.
He said go even come. He go come court self. He said go come court self. Can't defend, can't testify.
So he's a senior advocate. He was conferred in November. So he's a senior advocate, and he was former Attorney General of the state. So he's not new to prosecution and issues of investigation of crimes against the state and protection of the patrimony of the state. So let's wait and see. For me, I think like when Better's case is not an EFCC case. It's not. It's an ICPC case. It's corruption.
You see,
it's not economic crime.
Exactly, because she is actually a serving minister, a serving politician.
So for me, I'm wondering why. But if whatever works, and that's where we have all these problems in Nigeria. Oh, your car didn't start in the morning. One mechanic will just come and put one wire there. The car starts. You say, hallelujah, thank you. You just give the person the money and you go. Then the car catches fire while you are driving, and then wonder what's happening. So we don't want to investigate and get to the root of issues and do things by systems. A particular pastor was preaching one day. I was saying, look, the system is broken because the family is broken. Your child says, oh, he wants to read medicine. You say, no, you must read economics. If you don't read it, I will not pay your school fees. You have started a culture of dictatorship in his life. And it grows up, he goes and reads economics. He's very unhappy, but he's doing well. He's making a lot of money. It's because, he's so brilliant. He did, but economics was his first love. And then his child is telling his child now says he wants to go and read mathematics. And he's wondering, mathematics, what you want to do with mathematics in this life? I said, my friend, you must read economics. And then dictatorship. And then it creates that when the policeman comes and slaps you, you feel that the policeman, because he's wearing uniform, he has authority to slap you. You understand? You have created this culture of fear, this culture of subservience. And because we are not following systems. You understand? So, let me not start digressing, because, if we start speaking about this, our broken systems and our failure to abide by systems, you just come, what 100 billion. We have Financial Responsibility Act. Who is following it? The Senate will just come and approve this. Then the House will approve that. Everybody will just do it. And then you buy this for your grandchildren. Then the money, where is the money? We don't know. We say you want $110, maybe $100 million. Where is the money you collected from Abacha last week? The Abacha gave us. Nobody knows. Where is the one that you collected from Auntie Desani? Nobody knows. Where's the one you collected from Nobody knows. You understand? So, everybody's just doing his own, those systems. You are just, whatever Oga says. Just like the policemen that were there when somebody was stomping on a woman's belly. He should have been arrested right there. A soldier will slap a policeman. A soldier will slap a policeman. And the policeman will be looking and saying, God day. The police should be arrested there and then. Although, there was a recent Supreme Court decision that, look, no serving military officer can be arrested, prosecuted, or indicted by irregular laws. I'm waiting to see whether that thing will be appealed.
So it has to be the martial law.
Yes, sir, because Okubade, they said stole body, all those other people that stole plenty money that EFCC prosecuted, we want to see what will happen based on this decision now, So, broken system, we need to repair our system. Look, you can't continue with this system. It will not get us anywhere.
All right.
Anywhere.
So, Barrister, so let's quickly just chiming on what a big announcement by the president that a lot of people have been lauding him for, as he suspended the social investment programs by the National Social Investment Program Agency. So he announced the suspension, in a statement this Friday today. The Director Information Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Segun Imohioshen, said the president's decision was in view of the ongoing investigation of alleged malfeasance in the management. Malfeasance in the management of the agency and its program. So you have a whole lot of them, suspended. The N-Power program, the coalition cash transfer, the unconditional cash transfer or conditional cash transfer, the government. Forgive me for twisting the conditional and unconditional. I'm sure you understand. The government enterprise and empowerment program. All of those, even including the homegrown school feeding for children that this administration has reintroduced. They said all of them should be suspended for now. What's your thoughts about that?
Homegrown school stealing. Look, Precious, you have been there. You have people in the village that they call you every day, everywhere. You have poor people in Lagos. You have people that hear you online, that know you online, follow you online, that will send you messages asking you, please help me, even if it's 2,000 naira. If you look at the amount you spend on poverty alleviation as an individual in a month for people, you faint. Now, how many of those people do you know that have benefited from this program? Me, I have poor people in the village. I have poor cousins. I have poor brothers. I don't know anyone, even in the city here, that has been. I have not met anyone that benefited from any of this program. I have cousins, brothers, stepsisters who have children in the village. I don't know any of them that has been fed. I know how many mouths I feed every month. I don't know. So, when you say all these things, like I say, we cannot go about creating systems. Creating arrangements without systems.
So do you think that the president was right to have suspended these programs?
Well, the thing is creating a fantabulous, as Mr. Macaroni will say, scandal for him. He's getting a scandal of unimaginable proportion. Why? Look at some of his most trusted, they are being indicted. You understand? Look at the woman from before. After her came another. And look, I'm not saying all these people are thieves, but I'm saying the system is just not working.
So do you think the system is an enabler?
Card. Yes, the system, we don't even have a system. We have an arrangement. There's a system and then there's an arrangement. A system is a structured course for achieving preconceived objectives. An arrangement is like bed down. Just go there, open the bill, and whatever you see. You understand? Just pick whatever you want in this bed down market stuff. That is what we have. So, okay, Oga, do you have any idea? Oh, I have one idea. If we do like this, let's just do like this. And then we can, from this thing, we can siphon XYZ amount to fund party this thing. Wait and see. This thing will be reinstated. Because they need money to fund campaign. Look at all this so-called Uncle Bora scheme. Where did all the money go? Do you think the money went to doing any rice or doing anything? The money went to funding campaigns left, right, and center.
So the issue now is that a lot of people didn't, the President Muhammad Buhari's administration was criticized for these initiatives. A lot of people did not expect this administration to follow suit. But are you surprised that they followed and, continued with these, especially that of the cash transfer? Because people thought, or people have always been of the opinion that giving people cash isn't a way to fight poverty.
Who are you giving the cash? What is the arrangement? How did you determine?
And not even through bank transfers.
Do we even have a system? Do we even have a system that we use to identify people? You understand? If you want to collect people, the only time that the government has a system is when they want to fleece the poor. If you want to collect money from people, you create a system in JAM. Everybody must pay. You create a system in Wike. If you want to get you create NIN, you create this one. And then when you want to make sure your money is complete, when you want to make sure you are delivering dividends, these same systems that are in place, you will not harmonize them and use them towards achieving that objective. You go to the bank now. If your account, just say you did what, you had one dispense error of maybe 1,000 or 3,000 naira. Go to the bank. The same bank that has been operating your account for the last 13, 20 years. I've been using that my bank for 20 years. For a few days ago, my account was locked. They said I repeated my password multiple times. I went to the bank. The only time we can go is to the bank. They told me to fill a form. In the form, they told me to write my BVN. This same bank that has my BVN, that has my name, that has my passport, that has everything. They were telling me to write all this. All I needed to do was to put my fingerprint and the information will come out in front. Why do I have to go and start filling a form? Mm-hmm. You have everything. You have my data since I wrote Wike. What do you call it during our days? You have all the information concerning you have my thumbprint online when I did my first driver's license. I did driver's license when driver's license was like a notebook, before they now turned it to a card. Yes, I think it was 1992 or 1993. I started driving in 91. I got my license in 1992 or 93. You understand? So imagine you have had my data since that time. You've had my data from the first NIN, National Identification thing, that they did in the 90s. They did another one in 2000s. They did another one when again. Come on. So look, the system is broken. And like you said, people were expecting that the government will not follow. And then we were shocked. But let's see. Me, I know that Tinubu is a capitalist. He's a social capitalist, Abi. How do I describe him now? He's someone that likes to get the greater benefit of the resources and see what he can do with it, at least from the Lagos experience. He will exploit every avenue, every nook and cranny where the money is. That money will come out from there. So all these leaks is, initially maybe it was aligned to satisfy the, all these political hangers on that helped his victory. As it is now, it's not sustainable. The country is broke. If anybody that thinks this country, you say money in Nigeria, right? You are just deceiving yourself. The country is mega broke, at least clinically speaking. If we look at it empirically speaking, there will be money hidden here and there that if they put their game together, they can pull it out. But the country is broke. Country is very, very broke. The other day, I only looked at the economy for those states. NDLEA will come and burn thousands of hectares of farm. This farm that you can get cannabinoid from and make more money than you are making for NNPC. Yet you just go, you spend 500 billion naira to go and be burning farms all over the place every year. You say cannabis, you ban cannabis, and you allow sugar. Let me not even get into it. We are getting our priorities wrong in the country. Sugar, the government was saying they are going to go and do sugar is too expensive. We are going sugar that is you should ban sugar. Cigarette that people should not even be smoking. People are smoking it, and you are banning cannabis that is 1,000 times more beneficial than cigarettes. I don't know what people's problem is in this country. So like I said, until we get our priorities right, we will continue to suffer what we are suffering. Tinubu has done well by suspending it. Look at it again. When the system is broken, suspend it, review it. If you are going to rejig it and make it more beneficial to the people, good and well. Okay. At least there are some people that benefit from power, and for whatever it's worth, they've been able to feed themselves and feed their families, or at least survive for the last 4, 5, 6 years. Right. So look at it.
So very quickly, my phone lines are buzzing. People want to jump in on this conversation.
Yes.
But are you surprised? There's a new report that Nigeria, Somalia, Libya passports. Can you hear me, Barrister Sundiawe?
Yes, please. Okay. I hear you now.
Okay, I was just saying that there is a new report that Nigeria's passport alongside that of Somalia, Libya, and all that have ranked the lowest globally or the worst globally. Sorry, apologies.
Excuse me.
So, are you surprised about that? And this was done using travel data collected from the International Air Transport Association (IATA), and we hear that Nigeria has dropped so low, and now is in line with that of Libya, Somalia, Syria, Afghanistan, ranking last.
Failed nations.
Yes.
Failed nations. You see, yes, it's when you say surprise, I'm surprised.
So we're like the last bottom 10 now.
We are not in their league. I don't know the metrics because I've not seen that report. So, when I see those kind of reports, I want to see the metrics so that I understand it and I'm able to make a critique. So I've not seen that report. So look at
the report is actually basically based on the number of countries that you can get in without visa or visa free.
Okay, so well, that is again, in fact, why do you want to get into Nigeria? Look, when you see a situation where
that is how many countries you can access with your passports visa free. Exactly.
But if that is the metric they are using, then I'm not surprised. You understand? Look, if you are about to pack into a house and you see all the rats before you even move in, the rats and the cockroaches in the house, they are carrying their luggages and they are running away.
There must be something chasing them. You too have to run out of that house.
You want to go there to do what? You understand? 300,000 Nigerians fled. People say it's immigration. It's escaping. There's no immigration, though. People are escaping from Nigeria. Have you heard Jakpa? Do you know what it means? Run for your life. Flee. Yes,
all right, thank you, Barrister. Thank you, Barrister. Now, let me quickly open my phone lines because Nigerians are itching to jump in this conversation. Thank you very much. I don't know if you can stand by. If you can, well, thank you so much. Let me let you.
Let me hold on.
Okay, let's see if you can respond to one or two questions exactly. Lagos phone lines are now open 0700 903 9039. That's a WhatsApp line. It would be better you call the WhatsApp line right away, right? It's 0700 903 9039. Hello, good evening to you. Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening and welcome. What's your name and where?
Hi, Precious.
Sir?
Yeah, this is Remy.
Hi, Remy. You're welcome. From Akoka, right?
Evening to your guest. Yeah, sure. I'm still there. My question to your guest, since he also agreed we have a broken system, because as it is now, to get justice, it's almost impossible. The electoral process as well too, going by the last election, including the off-cycle election in Kogi State and Bayelsa, we all saw what happened. Result before elections were conducted. We saw what happened in Rivers State, whereby a particular party won, but INEC decided to declare another party as the winner. And nothing has been done to that, which means people's will can be done away with by the electoral, by the umpire, and nothing will happen. So in this kind of case, what should the electorate do, since they can no longer get justice either through the electoral process or the judiciary? Going by these examples I gave, what should the electorate, since we can't take laws into our hands, what can the electorate do in this kind of case, whereby you are not assured of free and fair electoral process? You are not even sure of getting justice through the judiciary. What should the electorate do, and the opposition as well? What should they do, since they can't take laws into their hands?
All right, thank you so much. Barrister, what would you like to jump in on that very quickly?
Yes, thank you very much. That's one of the major concerns of the majority. This man has just spoken the minds of millions and millions of Nigerians. That look, how can we ensure that our votes count? Basically, that's what he's saying. You go and vote, and then at the end of the day, this thing will go to court. Then somebody will go and do a magic, and the court will say something that will make all of us say, I will say chai. There's one girl that has a program that says the things that make you say chai. You open your mouth and wonder what happened. So the truth of the matter is, look, we only have to continue. Like when we started these conversations about change for Nigeria, real change, about a year and a half ago, we continued to say, look, there is a momentum. Let us not lose faith. Look, it has started. You go on social media now, everywhere, it has started. You can't get away with everything you do now. I'm sure my brother who just spoke understands this. Let us continue the momentum. The other day, some policemen beat a chap, a lawyer that went to. Now there was a protest. The DP was sacked. The other day, something happened. Some chap was tortured by soldiers. The soldiers were arrested. You understand? So the momentum is driving. This used to happen in those days. Say it's a family affair. It's an eternal thing. They will hush it up, and nothing will happen. But let us sustain the momentum. every gain. Let us celebrate every inch of progress we make and continue to drive the progress. We saw the massive momentum that went on during the elections. You know, how the Obi revolution swept the country to the extent that Lagos was lost. People don't know the significance of that. Lagos was lost, politically speaking. You understand? So it can happen. It can become a nationwide thing. You understand? When we continue to push for these positions to happen and continue to push for accountability in the process of appointment of persons that serve. For instance, the judicial appointment, you look at the hue and cry that greeted the recent appointment of judges to the Court of Appeal, to the Supreme Court. You see all kinds of, see your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your allegation here. They look, if it's all over the place. The person that is sleeping with this person, the person that is this person's girlfriend, it's there. Nobody, and I've said it without fear of anybody tackling me successfully. That look, the process is broken, and we have to continue to campaign to see that the process is adjusted.
So the only thing the masses can do. So the only thing the masses can do, in your opinion, is continuous consciousness. That's basically what you're saying. So yes, they should continually build consciousness, remain alive, yes, and keep yes, talking about these things and keep enlightening themselves. That's what you're saying.
Yes, whether you japa or you are here,
you just keep the consciousness alive.
Make noise.
Thank you.
Make noise.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Lagos phone lines are still open. 0700-903-9039. For now, please just call me on the WhatsApp line 0700-903-9039. Hello. Good evening to you. Hello.
Oh, good evening, Precious.
Thank you. Welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Dario from Abba.
Dario, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay. Like I used to say, you can see how the outcome of how Nigeria has been since when the president was sworn in, even till now. You can see how everything has turned upside down. Like I said, the problem that we have in Nigeria is our judiciary and INEC, and this is what has played out. You can see all that the tensions everywhere and I'm sure if INEC had done the right thing and judiciary had done the right thing, things would have been more better than this. We would have the country would have been down. But see what we have been going through all this while. So it's very unfortunate. Like I used to say, if the process that brought into to power, like Obi said, if the process that brought into power is not credible, you can never be credible. You can see the nightmare that Nigeria is going through right now. So they say that the foundation, like they say, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse or misuse is inevitable. So it's very glaring. It's just like appointing an Agbero to a position of a chairman without doing interview, without doing the necessary things, without checking the credentials and every other thing. The organization will be destroyed. So this is what is happening in Nigeria. It's very glaring. So, well, I don't know what to say again. It's just very unfortunate. And Precious, I don't understand why don't you read my messages on your WhatsApp line?
Which of your messages? Daya from Fagba, right?
I send messages on WhatsApp and intentionally
No. I don't intentionally. So now that you have called me, it's even nice to hear you for the first time, right? Daya, your messages are always like a full 50 verses of a song. I don't know how to explain it. So
it's not much. I'm making my point.
No, calm down. First of all, you always start your message with the same lines of repetition. And you always start You always start them with those quotes and repetitions. I am telling you from what I see. I am telling you from what I see. We don't have those time. We don't have that time. Fagba, please. Fagba, Dio, please. Let's not have that argument. I read other messages. See how swiftly I do that, right?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Kindly make your messages very precise and straight to the point, and I will always read them. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling. Thank you. All right, then let me go to those messages that they're accusing me of now, Barrister Tunde. So, all right, so I have a few of them here. Some of them here. This says, Our esteemed guest barrister, greeting you. I love the analogy of 2 oranges and 2 oranges should give 4 oranges and not 2 lemons and 2 oranges. Can he please liken this to the 25% and interpretation of the courts in the 2023 election cases? Please let him respond, please. Simisola is saying that. Your analogy has caught up with you. Okay.
This is something we're going to talk about for a long time to come.
Okay.
Yes, until, look, when you say, let me give you one very simple explanation. When we started our first year of law, our lecturer gave us one analogy, that there was a law that said, no man shall be caught outside after 6 o'clock. Then the woman was working at 6 o'clock and the police arrested her. And she said, come on. They said, don't you know that no man shall be found outside after 6 o'clock? And the woman said, but I'm a woman now. The law says no man. Do you get what I'm saying? If you look at the issue of that 25%, if you go and read it, I wish I had a copy of the Constitution where I'm sitting now. I've just opened it and read it to you. It's capable of multiple interpretation. So it is the interpretation that makes the best sense to the people that are interpreting it at the time that will interpret it, that they will interpret it. Don't you understand? You understand? It's likened to this word that no man shall be found outside after 6 o'clock, and it's a woman found outside. You understand? So some people will come and say, but she's a woman, right? And the law says, so in the statutory interpretation, there's the rule we call the rule of literary interpretation and the rule of the rule of literary interpretation. You interpret it directly, exactly as the law said, and the liberal interpretation rule, where you interpret it to avoid mischief. For instance, if we interpret that law, as I said, no man should be found out to be that only men, would it not be mischievous? It is mischievous. You understand? So it interpreting. So look, I'm not saying that. In my view, I disagree with great respect to the lordship of the Court of Appeal. I disagree with their interpretation. You understand? I said before I didn't want to talk about that interpretation. I've said it now. This auntie that she has made me open my mouth now. This all I mean.
Simisola.
Okay. So we since decide say please, the way they say woman say please, pack your bag and run away before you go and do something that you should not do.
No, I will say please.
So I'm now I'm now opening my mouth on an issue that I'll be quiet about. So sincerely, my view is I don't agree with the decision, but it is the law now. The law is not about.
So Abuja is now treated as a state now. Abuja is now a state, the 7th state of Nigeria, or the 37th state.
Even if you look at the constitution of Abuja normally, Abuja is constituted like a state, so to speak. We have FCT minister, we have governors, we have
only FCT one minister.
Police. That's FCT minister now. FCT minister. That's like the governor of FCT. If you have look at all the other,
but it doesn't have House of Assembly members.
You want us to start going? You want us to go? Look, I'm talking about the things that supported the decision now.
Okay.
Let's go. If you want, look.
But every element of a state is not in it now. Abuja doesn't have all the elements of a state now, does it? Well,
yes,
sorry, who am I?
It's considered as a state now. Okay. It's considered as a state now. Normally, capitals are not considered as states. It is the territory of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not considered as a state.
So every other place in the world, capitals are not considered as states. It's only in Nigeria now that we have now interpreted a capital to now be a state. Okay. All right.
There's Washington. There's Washington, the Greater Washington. There's Washington DC. Let me not even go into. We like using America as a comparison too much. Let's not go to that. But the point I'm making is, look, if the interpretation that is called for by that's why when you are elected to the Supreme Court, or the process of election, you have to be very circumspect about people you bring. To that place. That is, once they have made a decision, it is only they themselves that can reverse it. You understand? So you have to be very careful. And who becomes Supreme Court judges? It is lawyers. People like Abba they are aware now that are speaking. You understand? I already have a conception about how society should be run. Then a time comes calls for nomination for judges come, and I present myself for nomination, and nobody's looking at my convictions. All they are looking is, he satisfied the credentials. Boom, he knows people. We like him. I become a judge of a high court or a federal high court. The next thing, there's a vacancy for Southwest in Court of Appeal. And I've looked at the most brilliant judge around, or the most favored, or the most connected. I get to Court of Appeal. Before you know what is happening, maybe somebody fell down from a tree, or he was golfing and he broke his back. He can no longer sit as a Supreme Court judge. Boom! Where is now a Supreme Court judge. This person with one ideology like this, that you have been listening to me over the radio for years, you know my views. What do you expect me to do when a situation presents itself before the court that I'm going to be the one that is going to be the determining factor in that decision?
Okay.
Let's say 3 people have agreed. It's a panel of 5. 2 have agreed, and it's now me. Where do you think my decision will go? These are the things that we keep talking about. You don't just wake up, and people don't just become a particular fashion overnight. Their antecedents show the kind of persons the kind of decisions that they will give. We have judges that will give, the police has beaten someone and broken his leg. They will award 100,000 naira damages. Can 100,000 naira pay for POP or even antibiotics for 1 week? The judge will award 100,000 against. Why would the police not break another person's leg the next week? Or any other agency, so that we not say we are focusing on police.
Okay. All right.
You understand? So you have judges that are conservative. Remove them from certain circumstances. If what you are looking for is radical change, remove the conservatives.
Is it not the job of the agency to do all of that?
Who appoints agency people?
Barrister, let me go back to my messages. I have a lot of them. Okay, so this here says what the Supreme Court did today is expected for Hussein pressing. I know some APC thugs and Wheeler supporters would say people are happy now because it favors them, even when they know ab initio that they didn't win the election. Most of the APC victories, including that of the presidency, was through the means of tickets. Why are you saying that? But through the means of take it, grab it, and run away with it. I'm also by. Okay, all right. I'll skip that last one. And this says, good evening, Madam Precious. Today's judgment is good one, as all present governors confirmed duly elected, and all eyes are not on the judiciary because the judgment in Kano went in favor of NNPP. But whenever it favors ruling party now, they will say all eyes on the judiciary. The judiciary is in danger. Tunde from Ijego sent that message. Just exactly what the last person said. Do you understand? Okay, somebody just sent Obaseki, was trying to get your mind to the name you were looking for. That is talking about Obaseki, Godwin Obaseki. Yes. And then he says, good evening, Precious. The fear of the North is the beginning of wisdom. APC knows that an unpopular judgment in Kanu can lead to an uncontrolled crisis in the North. I bet you. I don't know if you're preview of the jubilation. There is a lot of jubilation in the streets of Kanu. And for people have covered the streets with hailing. You say what?
Nobody will sleep. Nobody will sleep.
Are you serious?
Let me tell you. Kano is a place I'm very, very conversant with since I do a lot of work in Kano. So I know Kano very well, and I know the sentiments of the people of Kano, and I know the problems of the people in Kano. And this same thing that Kano, this same Governor Abba. Please, your jotter or write it down. The same Kano people will consume Abba. Abba may not even get a second term. Watch and see. Because Kano is a very, very mobile political situation. It's not a political entity. It's an ongoing political experience, and it has always been. Kano, watch and see. I'm not saying Abba has done anything wrong. Please let that woman be interpret me. That's But let me tell you, Abba will be very, very lucky to get a second term. Number one, Kwankwaso is a person is a very difficult person to please.
But he's a son-in-law too. Remember that he's not just his, political godson, but also his son-in-law. So he's more or less his son, right?
Write it down. You know how many son-in-laws have jailed other son-in-laws in Nigeria with EFCC and all those other arrangements? I start to calculate for you now. You'll be amazed.
All right. So let me
finish the relationship between people that are doing people.
Okay. So reading this message further.
Kano is very fluid.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this person says that they know that an unpopular judgment in Kano can lead to an uncontrollable crisis in the north. And he says, I bet you, if it was in the southeast, they would have considered it done and dusted. Hope Uzodima's case to it is a case study. That's what you're going to say. One day, Nigeria will pay dearly for that disdain, injustice, and daylight robbery against the Igbos. It is only in Nigeria that people expect to have peace without efforts to ensure that justice is seen to be done. Remember that justice should be done and should not just be done, but also be seen and perceived to be done. He said, just look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. It is clear, even in the blind, to the blind, that his release would douse tension in the region, and the leaders of the region had made it clear. But issues concerning the region does not matter well. Livinus is sending that message. That's Livinus's opinion of what's going on.
Uzodima contested now. And where are the people that were saying Uzodima was to become governor? Even though I don't agree with the judgment that brought Uzodima. The first shall be the last.
So if you do not agree with that judgment, then why do you think he contested and won?
Why did you allow him to win?
How did he win? I mean, this second time winning.
Exactly. It was he flogged there. He flogged there Koboko.
Are you serious? Okay, so in your opinion, let me not mention. Precious, shut up. Okay, so let's
we Nigerians we need to be more circumspect about what we want.
Please don't make me take off my glove as a presenter, moving as a citizen. Please, I'm trying to control myself. Okay, so this
you're always balanced.
So this year says good evening. I'm not balanced though. People are saying I'm APC woman leader here, or they will not know that I'm balanced. Do you know?
I they know that me I'm an APC.
Why you were away? They have christianed me APC woman leader. Why you were away since you left me? Okay.
Me I'm APC. Me that I'm criticizing this APC.
He's a Chineke.
They understand the balance I'm talking about here.
All right. Unfortunately, I'm not. Well, this says, good evening, Precious. I want to let you know that Supreme Court justices are free to deliver biased judgment against incumbent governor of Kano State because they know that people of Kano State will not accept the judgment. And he says, I want to tell your guests that Wike will not win governorship election if the election is conducted free and fair. And likewise, in Lagos State.
Okay.
Do you believe that if election was free and fair, he would not win? Because that's what this person is saying. Hello, Barrister Tunde, why are you there?
People think about numbers. Election is not just about numbers. Election is not just about numbers. There are many factors that contribute. Even in your local government, in local association election, all these people that are making noise, shouting all around that. Can you run an election in your union, in your street? Can you win an election in your street? You know what it takes. In your street. Big man, opinion everywhere. Can you win an election in your street? Your street that everybody else, you've been living there 30 years. Can you win an election? Election is a combination of factors. You leverage your good. It's not just spending money. There is goodwill. There are some people that will die for people. If you come to the junction and shout, how many people will come out and rescue you? If you have a challenge.
So you're saying that the number of Rivers people, are you saying that the number of Rivers people who would die for a Wike?
There are more than people that will die for Fubara. And it's not just a matter of politics. It's a matter of the goodwill. Look, goodwill is currency. You understand? Okay. That is what Tinubu enjoyed, that he rode to power and has stayed in power for the last 30 years.
Okay, all right. Let me go back to my call, please. We'll get back to that conversation.
Yeah,
hello, good evening. Sir?
Good evening.
Good evening, welcome. Is this Prince Akwachi from the US?
My greetings to Barrister T. There is a question that he asks, and I want to categorically tell him, I don't live in my village, but if I go to my village, I will win. Clean and clear. No rigging. Okay? No rigging whatsoever. I will, catch Ononuju today. He's from River State. As a matter of fact, he's from Diop. He said it clearly that Wike is irrelevant in Rivers as it is right now. He knows people are angry at him. That's why he doesn't want all those state assembly people to undergo election. He wants to move them to APC, just like that. Let them go through election and then let's see who's gonna win. Let's see his popularity. if he feels that should be, he should subject them to election, and then let's see who's gonna win or who's gonna lose. That's all I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince Akwachi. Barrister Tunde, did you hear the energy?
Awesome. Yes.
Is it awesome? That one weak you, Abi?
Yeah.
That one weak you.
No, it ginger me, not weak, it ginger me. Because that's it's a job. I just smiled because Port Harcourt is. I sat there, you understand, so. And then I stayed there for a while, so it's
you practically lived in many places in Nigeria anyway. So
there's nowhere in Nigeria that I have not lived in. There's no place, capital in Nigeria. I've not just visited, lived in. So the point I'm making is with this gentleman. Well, I understand it, but you see, I always tell people, be careful what you ask for. Yeah, sir. We were talking earlier about what may happen in the Supreme Court under re-election. Well, be careful what you ask for. Me, my own analysis of the situation, my dispassionate analysis. I have no stake in Rivers State. I'm not, connected to any individual there or have any interest in Rivers State. But I have read the ongoings in Rivers State. I understand the power structures in Rivers State. So
wait, Barrister Tunde, 1 second. What you're calling structures and power structures is because of those that Wike may have spent money on, basically, or have empowered with money. And so you think that he's empowered? In your opinion, do you think that Wike has empowered so much people that they would make the millions of votes that he requires to win election?
It was apparent during the elections now.
You think it was? Should I play you a video where somebody said, should I play you a video where someone, a Wike supporter, a Wike supporter saying that they know how all his House of Assembly members, all of them, even the governor won election, that it was them that changed the numbers.
We've heard that.
That they changed the numbers.
Those videos now. We've seen several of that.
Did you not see result sheets? Did you not also see result sheets that were full of cancellations? And you saw all of this, and you think exactly.
Look, that those elections, in many ways were flawed. Well, I don't think those elections and those incidences represent the character of Wike's might in Rivers State.
Oh wow!
You understand? So look, those elections in Rivers State, at that it was a survival issue for Wike. Please, this is not an endorsement to.
Don't call it survival. I can say it was a do or die. I think it's easier that way.
I don't want you to come on radio. I want to be very careful by choice of word. You understand? Because for Wike, it was survival. If he did not win that election, he would have been rendered. So it was not a test of his popularity. If it was an election in Rivers State, for Rivers State, the character of violence and irregularities we saw, we would not have seen it. It would have been smoother. But there was a need to prove a point. You understand that, look, Oga, I will do this, and I will do what is necessary. You understand? And he went all out to see, or his people went all out to see, whether it was by his invitation or not. There was clearly a drive to see that the figures were in favor of the current president.
Okay, all right. Let me quickly go back to the phone line. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, my sister Precious. I'm Richard from Germany. I have a question for our brother Barrister Tunde, right? Because he said that the problem of Nigeria the system is broken. That is just, arrange, like Fela used to say, arrange, wayo government, which is very, very correct. But now, coming and the same Barrister Tunde is telling you why Tinubu succeeded in Lagos for 30 years because of, the way he does his own things. And Wike too. I think this is a contradiction because these people, because the system is so flooded, the system is so loose. That is why these people, have spent a lot of time in the politics. Because if the system is working like where I live today, these people wouldn't have, become anything, because, they wouldn't have become anything. So for him saying, kind of, having it both ways, saying this and saying that, Tinubu is where Tinubu is today because the system is a broken system, according to him, and he's right. Wike is doing the same thing Wike is doing today because the system is broken. People are very poor. There are poor people. In fact, more than poor, people are so desperate. So they keep these people down, so that they will go, reach to their potential, so that they will reach to the climax. That's why Tinubu is today the president of Nigeria, and that's why Wike is today the minister for Abuja, because our people are so poor, our people are uneducated, our people are uninformed, unexposed, and they are using that system. And they continue to use that system unless that system is broken or renegotiated. Our people will continue going through this poverty, this penury. This penury will continue unless that system is changed. Because these people they're not, for me, they're not politicians. These people, I don't want to call them names here, but they are not. Because in international standard, these people wouldn't have become anything. They are I'm telling you, I'm happy with him. He's a very good man. I mean, your guest in the studio, he has spoken very well. But telling us that Tinubu is where he is because he's too generous, he does that. Which money? Because 1998, everybody who was Tinubu 1998, who was Tinubu? Nothing. But to look at who is Tinubu today? Who was Wike? Before 1999, nobody. But look at all of them today. Look at all of them, political jobbers, and somebody's coming here telling that Tinubu is where it's because of his too generous. Generous from where? How did he start? How did he start? Thank you, my brother, my sister. God bless you. Bye bye. Good night.
All right, that's solely your opinion, Barrister Tunde. You have a right to respond.
He's spoken excellently. If you ask me,
are you serious?
I really, yes, and I appreciate it. Some people go online and go and throw one funny shade and insult you. But this gentleman has come out and he's spoken his mind. His views are, look, I appear to be contradicting myself. I say the system is broken, and then I'm endorsing people that have benefited from the system. That's essentially what my guy said, So for me, I don't see it that way. I continue to maintain that the system is broken, but I use Tinubu as an example. His goodwill. I said he has benefited from it. I didn't even mention the issue of distribution or generosity. I said goodwill.
But goodwill from where?
Things. For instance, me now,
and it wouldn't have been as a result of his position.
Free cases. Yes, so many free cases for a lot of people. Some of the people did a lot of free cases for when they were younger. Some of them is their children that are benefiting from and doing business for their children now, setting up things for their children who are now doing well. You understand? They saw how I was there for their parents. You understand? What money do I have? So goodwill, like I keep saying, is currency. When people know that you have their interests at heart, they will do anything for you. And I keep telling, because I do a lot of cases, family cases. I do a lot of divorces, actually. You understand? One of the things I've come to find between spouses is once a woman or a man knows that particularly the woman, knows that you have her interest at heart, there's nothing anybody will come and say. You understand? It is when the woman is concerned about her future with you that issues begin to get awry. That, they go south. In the same way, when people believe that, look, with you there is hope, with you they will get a job, with you they will get a connection, with you they will get an advantage, with you, it's not about the money. You understand? People will spend money to see that you continue to be able to do what you are doing. Like as I am. I'm doing cases that people fund. Oh, by the way, you do this. Other people will pay the fees to see that I continue to get this work done. So, look, of course, I'm not justifying anything. And me, I don't believe in calling names when I have no evidence to call names. You understand? so that one does not call me impartial. Or, but I respect my beloved brothers from Germany's views. I accept his chastisement, but I urge him to understand that is not my view. My view is that, look, the system is broken. I just use you as an example, not as an example of
thank you. Let me quickly move on to some messages, and my phone lines are still buzzing, by the way. So Adi says, do you need to ask about the desirability of otherwise of the perceived welfare scheme of the government? The guest barrister answered well by asking you who the beneficiaries have been ab initio. Of course, only the party in power and their acolytes have so benefited from administration before now, where Muhammadu Buhari looked away, when certain fraud was committed, in that industry. So basically that's what he's trying to say. Yes. And then he said it was a norm. Allowing those agencies to remain will ruin the country, which is already a scam. Okay, Anili sent him that message. That is Tony Anili. And then he says, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. He said, INEC chairman has created a big problem in this country. Goodness from Ago. He said, today, Kanu judgment is the way to go. Precious, please. Can I get... No, you can't. Unfortunately, please. No, you can't. And this says, I disagree with the barrister about Wike. It's Rivers money that made Wike tick. And now, the money bag of the state is with Fubara. The governor, if he wears Wike's kind of cap, will disable Wike and render him as inert as a corpse in a cemetery. And then he went further to say the governor is playing along because of the pending Supreme Court judgment. It is terrible when justice is no longer guaranteed from the apex court of the country. That's what his view is. So do you think that the governor is actually playing cool? And that's the reason why it looks like he's neither here nor there. In one breath, he's saying, I've accepted the judgment. There is no price too big to pay for peace. And in the other breath, you pay these people their money now. He paid them only till the time he knows they start last, till November. And he didn't pay them for the period they've decamped. And he refused to represent the budget. And so is he playing really wise?
Look, Fubara, I see. You see the devil at the deep blue sea. You understand? Fubara is a PDP man. You understand? As he stands today, he's PDP. If he makes the mistake to cross over to APC, the APC will swallow him. You understand? Because APC
but he just had a meeting with the president. Do you know the president is trying to woo him?
Well, let us see. Nothing is impossible. But you see, will Wike accept him? You understand? Wike is the leader of, technically speaking, the leader of APC in
River State. So are you saying that someone like Amechi and the rest of them are nowhere to be found in River State politics anymore? Amechi is still on the kumkum. He's still there.
Amechi, there's bandage on Amechi's mouth right now as I'm talking to you. Look, and Amechi is a very, very clear. It's just like Odili. If you look at the last 13, 14 years, Odili has been extremely quiet despite the boiling of River State. Anything he's doing. Just look around. Let me mention 2 or 3 politicians like that are clever as can be. David Mark. You will never see David Mark go and sacrifice anybody. As powerful as David Mark is, look at all the issues that have been going on
in Benue State. Exactly, with all the autonomous issue and all that.
The most powerful person, one of the most powerful men in Benue State is David Mark. He would not see open his mouth. You see Suswan, you see the other one, what's his name? He's shooting themselves left, right, and center. You see Otom making noise, and the Otom is who is just a political boy of when, all of a sudden he became such a noisemaker at one point. You understand? And he lost out very heavily. So look, there are certain people that they are watchers, just like it is our profession. You see people going on TV shouting, people like Barista, where you making noise. In this program they are there, in this morning program they are there, in this one they are there shouting. You see lawyers that don't even open their mouth making billions. Then when you see Barista, you see him driving one old rickety car. Yeah, sir. So but look, it's those guys. They know what they read situations and they intervene. It's only recently when this crisis came, because it was a very serious, it was going to consume the state, that you see how the leak came out with the elders of the state.
Oh, you knew it was getting to that level, right?
It had got it was going to swallow. It was so, people don't understand what happened in Rivers State. It was,
I wish people really knew.
It was so terrible that the only thing that would have stopped crisis there was a declaration of state of emergency. And even then, lives.
And you know how likely volatile Rivers issues can be, right?
You're talking.
Well, let me quickly go through some more messages here. This says,
okay. From Rubokoro, things will start happening. You start hearing things happening, and then you just know that the whole place, all the way down to LLA, everywhere to element, everywhere is just going to be shut down. Nobody will be able to enter that state. Soldiers will be afraid. It's not a place where you're going to play games. All
right. So a few more messages. Okay, a few more messages.
Rivers is very volatile, and Rufura is full of arms. It's like it's just like a gunpowder cake. If it's not managed carefully, the various governors, they have been very, very smart in managing the very competing interests. When sometimes when you see all these people that they say one kidnapper shot, this one making noise, it's one of those boys that have decided he's too big to be listened to governor. They just remove him from the setting. It's a very volatile state. Anybody that lives in River State, unless you are just one person that wakes up and goes to work and comes back, or you don't even know what's going on. That place is something else.
Okay, so Barrister Tunde, time is of the essence. Right, yes.
The whole state will erupt. People are armed from the creeks, from everywhere. They will come out from everywhere, and then you know what is going on.
Okay, so Barrister Tunde, before we wrap up, let me just quickly take a few more reactions, please, because people are on my neck.
It's important that people should be cautious.
Okay.
Because once if Rivers erupts, there's no holding back, and Rivers is very, very critical to the economy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right. Thank you.
Very, very critical.
Thank you. So
many infrastructure, so many feeder lines that.
Can you hear me? I was just going to say that. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I wasn't wondering whether you were with me.
I can hear you very well. But let me quickly run through some messages because we have just less than 5 minutes to run. And this says, Precious, I don't agree with your guess. If they do free and fair elections without vote buying, Agbo intimidation, without INEC and police conspiracy, also without cash and carry judiciary, APC will not win one state right now, considering the way Nigeria suffered under Buhari, Emefiele, and then it's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Daya from Fagba sent that message. But then this one then says quickly, can one man be a standalone truth? Absolutely. Do you know that that only truth will exalt Nigeria? Are the leaders truthful to its people or to their people? Never put compounded deception. Well, let me quickly run through this. This says, good analysis by the barrister. What we have in Nigeria politics is what the Bible says. If the foundation be broken or destroyed, what can the righteous do? Reverend Wachuku sent in this message. Your first time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And those on YouTube, I see a lot of your reactions. Unfortunately, I don't have time to run through that now. Aloysius, I see your reactions there. Thank you. Aloysius says, good for the judges that they upheld the justice. Kudos to them, especially that of Kano State. Looks like Kano was waiting to explode anyway, but then God saw them through. All right. And then Kineziki says, I remember the time we didn't take gifts or donations from thieves. That was a country then. And Emmanuel says, is the judiciary is the judiciary do the wrong things, they are bad, but if they do the right thing, people will praise them. Your guess is, they say you're a cunning man. Instead of blaming Wike, he's trying to blame Fobara. Did Wike allow anybody to control him? That's the question. So Barrister Tunde, if you can, in less than 30 seconds, your final thoughts. Let's have you wrap up your thoughts on these.
Your program continues to show that Nigerians are alive, are woke, are following, and all I'll say is, please, this your program and all other programs that you run or you support or you produce or you help happen, continue to run them. The feedback shows you how interested in the process Nigerians are. So I will just say a word to Nigerians: look, continue to be open-minded, continue to criticize, continue to have an opinion about things, and try your best to make a difference wherever you are, however small. As you are looking for a change at the top, wherever you are, make a difference. Make a difference in the life of your next door neighbor. Make sure your street is clean. Make sure your street is secure. Make sure your estate people do the needful. Make sure your village association will do right. You understand? Just continue to uphold truth and justice wherever you are, and by the grace of God, you see this change reflected in larger society. Thank you.
So more like we should be the change we want to see in Nigeria, right?
I agree entirely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barrister. Thank you for obliging me in a very short notice as usual. I don't know how to thank you, but one day when I grew up, I'll thank you. I'll thank you very well. When I grew up, I am still growing. When I grew up, I'll thank you. Thank you so much, Barrister.
You know, I should be calling you auntie. This one I'm calling you precious. So when I'll send apology. I know you are very young.
Thank you, Barrister Tunde. We appreciate you. All the best. Thanks. Bye. All right. Okay, Lagos. That's the size of our conversation, our size of our package today. I appreciate everyone who's been a part of the show. Thank you so much for your contributions, your thoughts, your reactions, and all that's on the show. My name is Precious Inyi. Do well to join us again on Monday on the show. And Mr. Darlington, you're just coming in. Barrister Darlington, you came late to church today. Church has closed, eh?
Are you not the one? Anything that stopped work
Barrister Darlington, what did you... Oh yeah, Barrister Darlington, in one word, just give me your thoughts on all the Supreme Court judgments today. Just in one word. In one word.
Just like we said in the TV station, I think the Supreme Court is trying to reinvent itself, and we thank God. Because of the pressure we have mounted, they have realized their mistakes and they are correcting it. If you check, nobody has been raising eyebrow over the judgment.
So is it because the judgment is in people's favor, or in some people's favor you think that the Supreme Court have done well?
No, it's not in anybody's favor. We are talking of substantial justice. That's what we want. No matter whose us is God. Like that of Kano, what they said is correct. You cannot say because of a mere paper, you will now throw away 165,000 votes validly cast. It's not done. So those rules of interpretation, they should be going for the golden rule instead of the mischief rule, which most judges are applying. All the technicalities, me, I see it as mischief rule. When they use it to interpret a legal document, it doesn't augur well. So the golden rule they are applying now should stand, like what they said in Kano.
What Justice Inyang said.
Exactly.
He was your friend that year. Now, for 1 minute now, you say you were against
who?
I didn't say anything, Barrister.
No, who's my
Justice
friend?
Justice Inyang Okoro.
When did we
No, it's okay. There was something. No, I finished what you were saying.
So what I'm saying is that let the Supreme Court, if the moment politicians realize that they cannot go to court and play pranks, they will sit up. All this, let's go to court. We want it to stop. Because I don't know why somebody will commit crime and he knows he has committed crime. Then he now believes that the court will free him. Therefore, he will be telling you, let's go to court. He's not even remorseful. He's not even thinking of the damage he has done. He said, let's go to court. That means he has something in court that some of us do not know. So we want you to stop. The Supreme Court should sit up. Let him continue to shoot down all these politicians who are destroying our society. That's what we are saying.
So the Supreme Court has done well now.
And
we're looking forward to them maintaining this in Rivers and other cases remaining.
Because I thank God, I don't know what mood they are today. That mood should continue. I don't want tomorrow now. Technicalities will come in.
Okay.
That's what we are saying.
Thank you. Lagos, I had told you bye-bye before, and Barrister Darlington brought me back again. So good night to you, Lagos. Have an amazing